and we're going to get started with the webinar. So just give me a heads up. Let me know for sure that you can hear me. I'm very excited to be here today. Willie, thank you very much. Francis, thank you very much. And I am posting in the chat for everybody the invitation, the reason that we're here. I want to make sure everybody has the link for next week. We are here because Magent 2.0 is being released. Today we're just going to go over the normal why we do magnets, what magnets are all about, and then I'll talk about our event that's coming up for next week. So I want to thank everybody for joining with me today. I'm always excited to be here. I love doing this, been doing it for 9 years. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Just remember, please, it's possible to lose money trading futures. Trade carefully. Don't trade money you can't afford to lose. As a reminder, always, we are trading a system called appointment-based trading. We use the NinjaTrader platform and we trade futures. And I know I go over the same things all the time, every week, but people get confused and they don't always understand what we do. So we use the NinjaTrader platform and we are trading futures. We have a system. Our system is made up of software, schedules, trade reports, and trade room access. So we really have 4 elements that make up our system: our weekly schedule, our daily trade reports, our trade room access, and our software. Our software is made up of 3 strategies, and those strategies install inside of NinjaTrader, and they become part of the NinjaTrader platform, and it makes it very easy to set up our software and to create trades. I mean, basically, we're looking at events, we're finding events to trade, and then we're using our software to set those trades up. It's not very complicated. The 4 elements, once more: the weekly market mover, the daily schedule reports, trade room access, and then 3 strategies: NewsTrader software, Magent 2.0, and the trap trade. Our weekly schedule has all the events that we're interested in trading this particular week. It shows you when our trade room is open. It shows you the names of the events that we're trading, and then there's a little bit of notes about exactly what that trade might be about. Maybe we're showing that particular trade room, we're streaming on YouTube. We might have a watch alert on that event. A watch alert usually means we're keeping a special close eye on that event. Maybe it's new, maybe it's trading poorly. There might be a variety of different reasons we have a special watch on a certain event. And then our daily trade reports, we call them the daily market movers. Many of our events get trade setups in our trade room, and we go over those events. We teach you how to enter the event into our software so you can trade and take part in all of the events that we trade. And sometimes also, if you notice, there might be an alternative setup. There might be more than one way that we trade the same event. So that's important to realize. Sometimes there will be a breakout trade. Sometimes there will be a trap trade. There may be multiple setups that we're using for one event. And the whole idea is that we're testing the events. We're looking at them quarter after quarter if it's earnings, month after month if it's a jobs report, week after week if it's an energy report. We watch the way these events behave, and we set up our trades based on that behavior. We do some technical analysis, but not the deepest of deepest technical analysis, because when you trade fast-moving market events, technical analysis can go out the window for a short period of time. You don't have indicators in general that will keep up with fast-moving news events. So technical analysis at the exact moment of a news event doesn't always do you any good. So we have different ways of looking at events to help us to trade them. And we have a very large amount of tools that we use, many of them free, that help us trade the various events that we're trading. Our software is a custom strategy, a series of custom strategies, 3 of them. They install inside NinjaTrader. And our software has multiple setups. So in other words, when you click on the right click on a chart, this is NinjaTrader, and we click on the word strategy, you can see our software is installed. We have the NewsTrader setups, and in those NewsTrader setups we have breakout trades, range trades, reverse continuation trades. We have advanced setups. Click a little button for advanced trades, and then we have one-click range trades, squeeze plays, the manual reverse breakout. We have a lot of different ways that we could trade an event, and the idea is we're teaching people which event to trade which way. And it's not complicated. It's not really even slightly confusing, because most of the time we're using 3 very popular setups, maybe 4. Breakouts, trap trades, which are specialized reversal trades, reversals and continuations, and of course our magnet trades. So it's not that complicated. We may have 10 different methods you could use, but we tell you which one to use, and we teach you how to use all of them in our trade room. So it's not complicated, it's not confusing, there's not too many setups. Like I said, most of the time we're trading 1, 2, or 3 very popular setups on most of the events, and it's very, very easy to trade them and to set them up. You're basically just typing numbers into an item, and in that item you might tell the software, well, look, we're going to trade 2 contracts. So you put the number 2 in the number of positions, and you have a target. How many ticks do you want as your target? Maybe you've got a 30-tick target, so you type the number 30. The point is, it is not complicated to learn how to trade the way that we trade. Our software installs into the platform as if it's part of the platform. So that's what I mean, and that's what I mean when I say we have multiple setups. When you click the word strategy, on the left side you could see you could choose the trap trade, you could choose our magnet strategy, or you could choose the NewsTrader setup. So there's 3 strategies. Inside of those 3 strategies there are some other setups that we use, and that's all there is to it. We take those strategies, we type them in, and then we take a trade. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So yesterday we had a great trade yesterday. We traded, and it was a very scary trade. You know, everybody was worried about the jobs report, because the worry always with the jobs report and the worry with the markets right at this moment is that the markets are very volatile. We're seeing very large moves in the markets, bigger than what we're seeing in what we've seen, say, even a couple of months ago, even a couple of weeks ago. The markets are very volatile, where we might have a bracket of 30 ticks on gold, and I'll show you what I mean when I say a bracket. Yesterday we used a bracket of 65. So remember what I just said. We go into our trade room, and in our trade room we show our members the trade report. And here's the trade report for yesterday's jobs report. And it was on a Wednesday also. There were a lot of elements that made this jobs report potentially extra risky. But we take all of those factors into mind, and we adjust our setups based on what we think will give us the most safest setup to trade the jobs report. We had a gold setup. We also had recommended bond possible setups that people were trading. And yesterday was something that we call a breakout for all, where many instruments all burst in the same direction. So what happens is, and the way that we trade, we watch the news using a website called investing.com. We also listen to the news using a website called Financial Juice, and we use their pro version. And in our headset, in my headset, I can hear the news being released as we're trading it. These are the tools that we teach our members how to use while we're trading these events. Also, we make a decision. Do we want to trade a magnet on this event? Do we want to trade a breakout? Well, on the jobs report, we traded a breakout, and our bracket is right here on the chart. You can see this little X. On the upside is an order to the long side, and then the X on the bottom is our order to the short side. The little orange arrow is the current price, and what happens is the news gets released. There was a giant explosion to the short side, and it immediately hit all our targets and gave us a beautiful, profitable trade. It was over a $600 trade in a second. Almost every single member that traded that report with us made money in the trade room using either our setups or learning from our setups. And people are smart. They create their own setups. We teach you in our trade room, and we've had many webinars, how to design your own trades, what to look for so you can design your own trades. We have a whole process. We teach our members the process, and our members take it to heart. And besides using our setups, they come up with some of their own. And sometimes our members have great setups that they teach the community. And that's also a big bonus of being involved with us, is we have a great community of people that share their setups, share their trades, and learn from each other. And it is a great way to trade, because trading can be very lonely. You're sitting in your office, you're all by yourself. There's nothing better than being in a great community of traders. So yesterday's jobs report was a big breakout, a beautiful winner. And then sometimes after the news, you can set up what we call a reverse continuation trade. And you could take a trade in the opposite direction. And we do that multiple times each week. Members are taught how to enter the market after the news. We trade around the news. Years ago, we only traded exactly when the news came out. That's very limiting. It's much more advantageous to have setups around the news, at the exact time of the news. Sometimes we even trade before the news. But ultimately, you want to have a variety of different setups to trade the news. Now, I'm just curious, I'm hearing some sounds going on here. Let me turn off my setup here. So what I was saying is we have many different setups. What I was showing here today is, and I'm really excited to discuss our Magnet 2.0, because I want to invite everybody. The link is posted in the chat. Next week, we're having a 2-day challenge all about Magnet 2.0. And let me just continue with my slides, because we have a lot of stuff to cover today, and we'll get into everything. So you're invited to the Magnet 2.0 release, and that release starts next Thursday at noon. And once again, just to go over what makes up our system, and the Magnet is part of our system. Our system is appointment based. In other words, we are setting up our trades at specific times of the day. We don't sit in front of our charts all day long waiting for setups. We're finding magnets around news events. We're finding magnets around earnings. We're finding magnets around market opens. Those are the times we like to trade. We schedule our trades at specific times, specific days, up to a week in advance. That's the whole idea of how we trade. Appointment-based trading is no riskier than any other type of trading. We go over this every week in our webinar. The key is to have good setups. The key is to have software that helps you to trade so that you can take advantage of these moves in the market. So what triggers a magnet trade? Three things. Initially, you've got high impact economic reports. So you might have a jobs report that could trigger a magnet trade. You might have a oil storage report that could trigger a magnet trade. Any news event, a high impact economic report can trigger a magnet trade. Also, big company earnings reports. Normally, there can often be a magnet after earnings come out. Once the earnings come out, very often you'll see a test of the high of the day or the low of the day. A magnet is a high of day or a low of day, and I'll explain that in a minute. Another category of events that trigger magnets are market opens and closes. Every morning in the trade room, we set up magnets for the YM, and almost every morning we trade a magnet trade on the YM. We see these events set up on market opens all the time. We teach our members how to pick trades. The Ninja Trader platform has a feature called playback, and that feature allows you to replay the market. So for instance, if you had a great magnet trade and you missed it, but you saw that it took place, you missed it, and you want to practice trading it, Ninja Trader has a playback feature that lets you take advantage of replaying that time in the market. That is a great way to practice and learn how to trade, how to find setups, how to design your own trades. That's called market playback, and we have multiple webinars on how to use the playback tool so you can master learning how to trade events, making up your own events, designing your own trades. It's almost unlimited what you can do with market playback. We find our events on the various free calendars. I'm not going to go over that today. We do it every week. I'll just show you one calendar, Forex Factory. We find events all the time. Every week we get our events from about 4 or 5 different calendars. When you go to forexfactory.com and just click the word calendar, it gives you a full week of events that you could trade. And then this little arrow up here changes the weeks. So I can get next week's schedule going by using this little arrow. I could now see all the events that are coming up next week. We know most of these events because we've been trading them for 8 years. That's, at least I've been trading most of these events for 8 years. So I find the events that have the most impact. We study them, and then we come up with trade setups, and that's how we find our trades. And we have 4 calendars that we use regularly: Forex Factory, investing.com, tradingeconomics.com, which is fairly new for us, and then financialjuice.com. And Financial Juice has a fantastic feature that we love. We highly recommend, if you trade events, that you check out their pro version. They have something called the news squawk, or a news feed, and what happens is when you log in and become a member, you can hear the news being announced in your headset. It's a great way to trade market moving events. And even if you're a regular trader and you don't trade news, to know what's going on in the markets is to very often know what the markets might do. If something is announced, if something is tweeted, if something unusual happens and you don't know what it is, it could ruin your trade if you're in the middle of a trade. So you can't ignore the news. You should always be involved in knowing what the news is and listening to the news all day long if you're trading all day long. If you're trading for 2 hours, you should have the news on in the background and know what's going on in the world, or it could screw your trades up. You can't trade in a vacuum. And we teach our members not to trade in a vacuum, but to use the various tools that are available so that you can make the most intelligent decisions possible. We have what we call the best of the best trades. We call them family money trades. We show them on our weekly schedule. Those are literally trades we would trade our own family's money with because they're behaving so well. We want to trade them all the time. And we have quite a few family money trades, and we teach our members which ones they are, of course, and how to trade them. You can definitely trade with us in a prop account. One of our members took a payout today. You have to know what rules are in all the various prop accounts. You're not going to trade breakout after breakout after breakout because that's not allowed, but you can trade ranges, you can trade magnets. Magnets are very stable trades, they're very consistent, and the thing that prop account companies are looking for is consistency. They don't want a $10,000 winner and a $2,000 winner. They want a $500 winner, a $300 winner, a $400 winner. They want consistency. So you want setups that allow you to trade with consistency. And our range trades, our magnet trades, our reversal trades, and you can get away with some occasional breakouts as well. But you have to know how to do it, and we talk to our members. We teach them all day long in the room what are the best ways to trade. And as I said, prop account trading is allowed. Just choose the right prop accounts. There are different ones, and the rules differ from company to company. So what is a magnet? So the first thing you have to understand is you need to be able to find a magnet. So that means that your charts and your chart setup is absolutely super important. When Magnet 2.0 next week is released, it will include a chart template, and that chart template will load. You'll be able to load the template in so that your charts will look exactly like ours. I believe, and I firmly believe, that our charts are very simple to look at. They're very clear. They're not complicated, and they make it easy to see trend. Trend is very important on a magnet. So first question is, what is a magnet? Magnets are areas on the chart where many orders are placed, and those areas on the chart attract and repel price. So what happens is, and you could see it right here, this red line is a low of day. That is a low of day. The low of day is a magnet because it attracts price, and very often what happens is we set up a trade to exit at the low of the day. If you notice, the low of the day was tested there. So if we set up a trade that started a half hour before it got to the low, we make money as the price goes lower and lower and eventually hits that low. So the concept for us is we set up trades that at least exit the first position at the magnet. Various magnets would be low of day. The high of day is a magnet. You see the high of day here, this green line. The VWAP is a magnet right there. They're magnets because many traders put their orders in those areas, and those areas of price attract, those price levels attract. And when the level is attracted, we are getting out of the trade, at least with our first position, because a lot of times you might go through the magnet and you might make money when it goes through it. So our software has the ability to get out at the magnet and to also take another position that will exit when it goes through the magnet. And then we have what we call our ARS reversal system, our aftershock reversal system. It's a signal generating system. You could see that there was a signal generated here at 5:05 in the morning that told you to take the YM short. It happened to be a great signal. Now, every signal is not going to be a winner. Sometimes you've got to just pay attention to trend. You got to pay attention to whether or not it's the right time of day to take a signal. And very often, sometimes the first signal won't work, but the second signal will, and the second signal will be huge. And you'll have a very large winning trade to make up for maybe a first trade that didn't work. But like any signal system, no signal is perfect every single time, but our signals are based on something very simple, and it's trend. And our charts are simple to see trend. We put volume on our chart. We put an indicator called the net change display. The VWAP helps to see trend when you're above the VWAP or below the VWAP. And of course, the high of day, low of day also helps you to determine what your trend is. Are you moving up towards the high of day? Are you pulling off the high of day? Have you just had a market open where you've made a new high and you're pulling back off? Those are great times to take trades, and those are great times that signals get generated very well. So inside of our magnet strategy, besides trading for the magnet, we have a full-blown signal trading system, and that system can trade VWAP signals, high of day, low of day signals as well. Also, our magnet software, and I'm not going to get heavily into the new version because next week's challenge is for that. This today is to get you excited about the new software and to invite you to our challenge. But suffice it to say, the new version has a tremendous amount of extra new features now. Instead of having to use the custom level, we can automatically target a variety of different indicators. We have built in a targeting system. We can target the VWAP, the main pivot, the PP, R1, R3, S1, S3, and the day open. And we have a totally separate system for the high of day, low of day. And we can target all of those in an automated fashion. So you can also, let's say you are a fanatical Fibonacci trader and you just absolutely have to use Fibonacci's as a custom magnet level. We have the ability in our software to type any value on a chart, and that chart can be a magnet. And all of the software features that target or trade around those levels can be used with your own personal custom levels that you like. So we have our signal system, we have our targeting system, we have the high of day, low of day system, and it's all part of the magnet trade software. Also, something else that we've added to the new version, because we didn't want to force people to have to buy our news trader software if you're not interested in breakouts or trap trades and you just want to be a magnet trader. We wanted the magnet strategy to be very complete, so we added to it the reverse continuation. So it's a strategy inside of a strategy. And again, I'm not going to get into it heavily right now, but suffice it to say that inside our magnet software, you now have the ability to program a very powerful feature. Easy to program, powerful to use. Reversal continuations are after your magnet trade is over. It's another possible setup, because we know after trading news year in and year out, very often there will be reversals or continuations in the same direction that you want to be prepared to trade. So a lot of times what will happen is you'll trade a magnet, the magnet trade will be over, you'll exit. For instance, if you look at what happened here, right here, for argument's sake, you got up early this morning and you traded a long and you hit the magnet, and then you got a signal to take a short. You could put the reversal continuation strategy on the chart at the same time the magnet strategy is on the chart. And when you're done and exiting with a profit on your high of day, you can take your short because you got a signal to take a short. It was a good probability signal, and if you entered that trade, it was a great winner. So you have the ability to take a magnet trade and a reverse continuation all on the same chart. And that's one of the nice things also about our software. You can have a breakout trade and a reverse continuation on the same chart. So when the breakout is over, very often, what do we see? We see a trend get created in another direction. Or maybe you had a bad trade and you scalp your way back to profit by using the reverse continue to fix a bad trade. That happens plenty of times. So our software is very flexible. I was talking about chart setup when I got a little bit off the beaten track, but our chart setup is simple and it makes these setups easy to follow and easy to put on. So I love our software. I've been working on developing this software literally for 8 years. So let's go back into our slides for a minute. So what actually triggers a magnet? Let me show you a magnet trade so you can see one, see a real one, what we're talking about. Let's see. I just picked a couple of random trades. So here we've got, what do we got here? We've got the gold market on the left. Let me just speed it up. And then what you have is the market starting to move up. I'm trailing my stop. This was a trade that we actually entered this trade way down here, expecting the high of day to get filled. So let me back it up and explain what I'm talking about. This trade was entered way back here about 20 minutes before the time you're seeing on this chart. Then, because you're in profit, you can move your stop way above your entry. I was way in profit on this trade. I was trading it in one of my prop accounts. My ultimate goal, I was looking for the high of day. Our magnet software automatically puts the exit at the high of day, but you can still move your orders around just like normal with NinjaTrader, because NinjaTrader does have a feature called chart trading. But ultimately, this was a trade I was expecting to get as close as I could get to the high of the day. Now in this case, I got my stop a little close, so I only made about $400 or $500 on that trade. Had I been more patient, ultimately the price went back to that high. That is one example of a magnet. Let me show you a simpler one. Let's see what we got here. All right. Here we have a trade looking short. That heavy line is our order entry. That line is movable. So when we put a magnet on the chart, where we're going to enter is up to us. We could decide wherever we want to put our entry, we can move the order. And that's a nice feature of the magnet. You can move your orders, make your profit bigger if the market's moving in your direction. Here we have the beauty of a magnet. The reason we call it a magnet, it pulls the price into it, and that's where you get your profit. Sometimes you get a little bit of chop, and bingo, it pulls the price. That's why we call it a magnet. Magnets occur on every single chart. Every single chart. If you like trading the ES, then you're going to get magnets on the ES. If you like trading the NQ, you'll see magnets on NQ. Every single chart has magnets because every chart has highs of days and lows of days. Every chart has pivots. Remember, we're targeting the PP, we're targeting the VWAP. Every chart has those indicators, and those levels are getting tested throughout the day, particularly around news. That is the key for us. We are trading around the news, around events. The news could be the market open. A lot of times we are trading the market open, and that's a great time to trade magnets. So let me just grab a random, let me see if I can find a quick random market open real quick. Every morning we are trading market opens. I just didn't pull a video aside on the market open today, just because I've shown them pretty much on every webinar that we've done. So not only are we trading breakouts on the market open, we also get our signals at the market open, and we trade YM magnets at the market open. So this is just a typical market open that we were trading. If you notice on the right here, I have a magnet set up that I'm waiting for on the YM. I'm getting ready to set up my MNQ chart for my funded MNQ account that we're working on. And what we have here is we're getting close to 9:30 in the morning. That's when magnets tend to be really good, but here is a sample also of what we mean when we have signals. What happens? As I've said before, you test a level, and then after you test that level, signals are created. Here we have, and I apologize, I gotta stop the video and stay in one place. Here what we have is a low being created and then a long signal created off the low. So that gave us a long signal, and it went all the way to the VWAP, which is actually pretty amazing if you think about it. That signal went from the low all the way to the VWAP. It's crazy. But those are magnets. Those areas pull price. And then that morning, I wanted to show the signals. That morning, we were waiting to see if the high of day magnet got pulled in on the YM. Let me see if I have that rest of that video. If not, I'll show you a different one. But what happens is, in the morning, you'll see that those magnets get pulled in. Here's a YM, I hope. Let's see what we got here. Here's a morning trade. We have a high of day magnet set up, a low of day magnet set up. I don't know which way the market's going to go when it opens. It usually moves quite a bit. Look how much it moved. Price goes up, it bursts up, and it shoots through our first target. We have a second target. We move our stop to safety, and the price pulled back. So we got a target and a half on that one. And also, we can watch signals while we're trading our regular magnet trade. Signals can still generate. But that was a very typical market open winning YM trade, trading a magnet. The magnet was the high of the day. Our first target was at the high of day. That target was hit. Then we normally would move our stop to break even, so you can't ruin a winning trade, and that is a perfect magnet trade. And once again, clear, easy charts to read is very important. So ARS is our aftershock reversal system. Now here's the deal, everyone. Every week we talk about magnets, we talk about breakouts, we talk about all of the strategies we have. We've been working on Magnet 2.0 for 3 months now, and finally we're ready to release it, and we want to invite everybody to the release. So we're going to have a free 2-day live trading challenge starting next week. Next Thursday, everybody is invited. We've done a lot of challenges. We just recently had a magnet software challenge. We had a full-blown lifetime software challenge. So Thursday at noon and next Friday at noon, we're going to have a 2-day Magnet 2.0 release party challenge, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be fun, educational, and we'd like to invite everybody to join us. We love the new magnet. We think it's going to be a fantastic part of our trading, and everybody is invited. So the link is in the chat, and you can register on GoToWebinar. After you register, we will be sending everyone an invitation to join us in our trade room next week, and also to keep the educational videos of the challenge. So you'll get an email after you register, of course, and it's going to be 2 classes, Thursday at noon and next Friday at noon. We'll introduce and release the software, and we want you to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll learn about all of the things that we talked about today, all about our JOBB software, all about our daily market movers, trade reports, all about our trade room, all the things that we do in the trade room. You'll learn about the trap trade, but the focus is going to be on Magnet 2.0. We're going to explain prop companies we use, and our classroom sessions will include what is a magnet. We're going to go in depth, what triggers trades, when can you use a magnet, how do you set up your charts, how to use the template, the ARS system, reverse continuations, using magnets automated, using them discretionary. They can be both. Everything that makes up our new 2.0 magnet will be covered in this challenge. The challenge is free. Become a magnet trader in just 2 days. Here's the ticket. The ticket is in the chat, so register today. The software will be released when the challenge is over. And we also, because the challenge is fun, we will be giving away 2 pro memberships during the challenge, and we'll just be raffling off 2 pro memberships at the end of the challenge. We always ask that if you want to be available to win, we ask that you make a video just talking about how you enjoyed the challenge or hated the challenge, whatever. Most everybody enjoys the challenge. We give an incredible amount of free educational information in these challenges, teaching you all about the way that we trade. And obviously this challenge is going to be completely focused on the magnet strategy 2.0. It will be released next week. So again, everyone is invited. If you have any questions at all, just reach out to me at help@10minutetrades.com. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the magnet strategy will be released next week. So any questions other than when it's being released, which I've answered? I don't see any other questions. So folks, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's going to be a great 2 days sessions. I'm sure you'll learn a lot, and you'll learn why we love the magnet so much, because these trades, they work over and over and over. These trades are working in our trade room, and people are enjoying trading with a magnet. It's a little bit less stressful. If you don't like trading breakouts, trading magnets is definitely less stressful, because you can wait for the news to be released and then you could trade the magnet. If you love the breakouts, which a lot of our members love both, they trade the breakouts, and then when the breakouts are over, there's very often magnet strategy availability. So it's a fantastic way to trade these markets. These markets are not easy to trade. They're very volatile these days. And the magnet is a great strategy, because no matter how volatile a market is, with magnets, you're waiting for the market to come to you. When it comes to you, you can decide to take the trade, or you could turn it on auto mode, automatic, so you don't have to think about it. But the decision can be yours if you want it to be. So come and join us next week. Register for the classes, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there at the challenge. And Hector, let me put the link in. Let me put it in. Try it, put it in again. I will make sure that if you have any problem that you get emailed the link, so try this. Let me know if it's working. Let me know if that is not working. If there's any problem, Hector, you're going to get an email from us after this webinar with the link in it. So don't worry if you have any problem with the link. I'll make sure you get an email. So everybody, I'm looking forward to seeing you there next Thursday and Friday, 12 noon, and it should be fantastic. So thanks everyone, and I'll see you next week at the webinar. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later.